All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking about music and also tragedy in the music world. Um, Unspeakable tragedy, and it's not death, but it could be worse in some ways. Anyway, doing what I do in real time for a few real people, just like you and just like me. Celine Dion, a woman who has a voice like an angel, all right, who broke on the scene. A lot of help from David Foster, but she had the talent. And she was diagnosed in August of 2022 with something called stiff person syndrome, SPS. August of 2022. She went public in December of 2022. There were a lot of rumors that were circulating back in those days. She's from Canada, as is David Foster, who really helped her career. Um, and this is a very rare neurological disorder. And again, sorry, folks, gonna do a little dot connecting here. What was going on back in December of 2022, back in August of 2022, and throughout 2021, and her being from Canada, where freedom is dwindling. Okay, the freedom to do what the government tells you to do. You've got the freedom to do what we tell you to do. Otherwise, you really don't have freedom. Really bad place to live right now. In fact, there are a couple of provinces that I believe are thinking of, departing from the motherland, from the mothership, and hopefully joining the United States or just becoming their own little countries. That would be a start for those places. But anyway, this story showed up in my feed, and it's just heartbreaking. It's incredibly sad. Celine Dion makes a rare appearance with her three sons. This is from the Daily Mail. At a concert in Las Vegas after harrowing footage showed the star suffering a 10-minute crisis seizure amid battle with stiff person syndrome. The singer, who is just 56 years old, looks a lot older than that now, was honored by Croatian cellist Hauser, born Stefan Hauser. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. During his concert at the Wynn in Las Vegas on Saturday, with pictures of the outing emerging on Instagram days later. Celine sat in the crowd with her eldest son, Renee Charles, RC, who's 23, and twins Nelson and Eddie, who are just 13, before meeting Hauser backstage. She had kids later in life. She shares her sons with late husband Renee Angelel, not know if I'm saying that right, who is 73, when he died of throat cancer back in 2016. A lot of tragedy in Celine's life. Celine, RC, Nelson, and Eddie appeared in photos and videos posted to Hauser's Instagram in the days that follow. On Tuesday, Hauser reflected on his meeting with Celine and her family as he shared footage of Celine telling him she's a big fan of his after she watched his concert from the audience before meeting him backstage. The star opted for an elegant black dress as she spoke to the European star after his Vegas show. So she's out and about, but it's difficult for her to do very much. She appears to be okay in these pictures, but it's just heartbreaking. So again, in this article, they're explaining what stiff person syndrome is. And they say it's extremely rare, not just rare, it's an extremely rare disorder that makes the muscles in the torso and limbs alternate between spasming and being rigid. Estimates suggest it affects around 70 people in the UK and 330 in the US and remains little understood. Around twice as many women as men are hit with it. The progressive disease sees patients' stiffness increase over time and can lead to them needing to use a wheelchair. There tend to be three types of the syndrome. Classical person syndrome, when rigidity and spasms are around the back and stomach and occasionally thighs and neck, it can cause back curvature over time. Stiff limb syndrome, spasms especially affect the legs and feet, occasionally causing them to become fixed in place. Hands can also be affected. Jerking stiff person syndrome, the rarest, most aggressive form, which includes symptoms from both the others and also affects the head and eyes. Experts, I love how they say they're experts. If they're experts, they have no idea. So they're not really experts. Experts do not know exactly what is behind the disease. But get this, they believe it may be caused by an autoimmune reaction when the body attacks its own nerve cells that control muscle movement. What was going on in 2021 and 2022? And every time I bring this up, people are like, dude, not everything is caused by what happened. No, but it's kind of a weird coincidence, right? Canadian, where the compliance rate was like 99%. Or else you couldn't do anything. Around 40% of sufferers have type 1 diabetes, another autoimmune disease. Type 1 is particularly associated with classical person syndrome. In stiff person syndrome, the immune system attacks a protein that helps make what's called GABA, which regulate motor neurons, the nerves that control movement. Low levels of GABA cause the neurons to continuously fire when they are not supposed to, resulting in the spasms and rigidity. So there's a documentary on Amazon Prime, and they have a still shot, and I don't know if I'm going to make the still shot the thumbnail. I mean, this is just, I'm looking at this, and I'm just, nobody should have to live like this. But there's a documentary about Celine and her diagnosis and the pain and suffering that she's gone through. I don't know, folks. When are we gonna maybe have some kind of an investigation into this, like a real investigation? All right, and where the media is no longer tethered to the people who advertise. You're going to have to find new advertisers. All right. That's what you're going to have to do. You can't have Pfizer. And by the way, it was kind of disappointing to see the guy from Pfizer hanging out with Donald Trump in the Oval. All right. Talking about new contracts. Oh, boy. And everything's fine. And Operation, look, there's some things I like about Trump. The Operation Warp Speed thing. Nope. Didn't like that. Don't think it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. Don't believe that it saved humanity. I kind of think it might be the opposite. All right? And I'm not alone. I'm not alone. You can like some things about someone and then be objective about the other things, and he's continued to claim credit for this. I know he's done some things. Bobby Kennedy is trying to do some things, and I'm more of a Maha guy than a MAGA guy. I'm just putting it out there. I was definitely very excited about Kennedy's candidacy. I knew he wasn't going anywhere because he can barely get a sentence out, and it takes him a while, and I'm sorry to say that, but in politics and media and all this stuff, you need communication skills, and his are unfortunately lacking, and he believes it might have been caused by one of these wonderful concoctions that they give to people over and over again throughout their lifetime. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. But the Celine Dion thing here is beyond tragic, okay? And people don't care about it because, oh, it doesn't affect me. It's a rare disorder, right? See, if you have a predisposition for something and this comes along and it triggers it, it's like a catalyst. This should be banned, taken out, even if it affects like 5 people in 1,000. You ban this. Again, should I bring the car seat analogy back? One car seat fails, They recall every single freaking car seat. Good. You don't want your kid like being thrown from the car or the car seat failing. You don't want that, right? Even if there's a small chance of that happening. But people are just totally okay with this. That's for the greater good, dude. What about polio, man? Yeah. Let's not talk about like better hygiene and things like that, which supposedly helped a lot when it comes to some of these things. We're just gonna give credit to the big pharma guys. They did all of it. They're geniuses, right? And they have so much money, and they support all of these old media outlets, and they continue to just do that stuff. And I thought this would go away. Of all the things that I thought would go away, first of all the advertising on TV where you get 1,600 side effects, but it might help you lose weight or something. I thought that was going to go away. I was pretty sure that would end on like day 5 of the administration. Still going on. Still going on out there. You can't turn on one of these alphabet soup channels and not hear and see these crazy things, and they're reading the side effects off really quickly. I've always wanted to do a video where I just play one of these commercials and just stop it each time where they talk about something. Because half the time you can't even understand what they're saying. It's like the guy with a disclaimer at the end of, the financing for a new car. And the guy's talking at like 80 miles per hour and you can't understand what he's saying. It's all the fine print. Read the fine print. I can't hear it. I can't read it. Just sign it here. What's in this stuff? I don't know what's in it. It works, so it's great. Safe, effective. Do it for grandma. Celine Dion, folks, is just a great singer. An absolute, even if you don't like her music, a great singer. Like a top-notch, upper echelon. I mean, David Foster, he won't hang out with people who can't sing. He just, he can rehab some people. He can make them a little better. But if he's going to produce somebody, it's going to be someone who has got the chops. And Celine was kind of in her own category, So anyway, my thoughts and prayers go to Celine Dion. And God bless her. I hope her pain and suffering is somehow alleviated, but it doesn't look good. This is a long-term thing, and it's progressive, and it just gets worse over time. So pray for Celine, all right? Thanks for watching. God bless. Talk to you soon.